Hey guys, Survival here. It's a lovely afternoon here at the Assessed Bushcraft and Survival Homestead. Today, I wanted to talk about a very important topic, and that is the enemies of survival. And no, I'm not talking about myself or anything like that. I'm talking about the actual enemies of the act of survival. I remember it with an easy to remember phrase, and that is, be prepared to face these hostile factors. So what exactly are these hostile factors? These factors are each an enemy of survival. The first, boredom and loneliness. Remain busy. The worst thing you can do in a survival situation is be bored. When you're bored, your mind will stray, your thoughts will mix with ones that are not conducive to survival. You'll start to think about things you're missing out on, that you're potentially on your own, that you're isolated. There's a lot of things that need to be done in a survival situation. So my advice, keep busy. Work out what tasks need to be achieved. Make a list. Start achieving them one by one. Don't let yourself be bored, because when you're bored, you become lonely. The second, pain. Don't ignore pain. Commonly, pain signifies potential for injury. Listen to your pain. Listen to what your body is telling you. Small injuries, if ignored, can become much worse. If you are suffering an injury, tend to that injury first before you do anything else. Make sure you are as well as you can be so that you can focus on surviving. And even in pain, as frustrating and difficult as it may seem, try to stay positive. For example, did you manage to get a good tinder bundle and find enough kindling to get a fire going? Did you successfully start that campfire? Consider each of these a small win, a little success. Stay positive. Thirst. Remain hydrated. Don't rely on thirst as a signal of dehydration. You can become dehydrated before you become noticeably thirsty. If you remember back to when we covered the rule of 3x2, please remember what comes first. PWF. Protection, water, food. The priorities of survival. Ensure that your immediate place is safe, and then focus on water. The reason we stress that is water is the most essential thing to your survival once you are otherwise safe. Purify your water. Stay hydrated. Fatigue. Tiredness leads to mistakes that at best cause frustration, and at worst, injury, and even sometimes death. In survival, it's rare to successfully replace the energy that you need. Be extra careful. Never underestimate the need to be properly rested. Temperature. Dress for the conditions you're in. Be aware of signs and symptoms of temperature-related injuries, such as dehydration, hypothermia, heat stress, and heat stroke. If it's getting too hot, if you're starting to sweat, take a break. Get in the shade, get in your shelter, rest. Cool down internally. If it's getting too cold, warm up. It's better to take longer to achieve a task and to be less affected by temperature than it is to suffer a temperature-related injury. Remember, when it comes to survival, injury is your worst enemy. The next, hunger. In a short-term survival situation that does not exceed 5 days, or that you do not expect to exceed 5 days, contrary to what you may think, finding food is not a high priority. You can offset reduced energy and stamina levels by drinking water and pacing yourself so that you work within your body's limits. However, take every opportunity to find food without using energy. So if you're in the middle of a task and you find a food source, utilize it. But don't unnecessarily waste your energy trying to chase food in the immediate short term. Should you realize that your survival situation is going to be medium to long term, so in excess of 5 days, then start to prioritize food. And lastly, the most difficult enemy of survival to conquer, fear, is one of the biggest enemies of survival. It can be both one of our best survival tools by stimulating you so you're ready to act, but it can also harm you. Fear is only good when you're in control of it. The best way to control fear in a survival situation is to have the right knowledge for the given situation. Learn and practice as much as possible. The more you learn and practice, the more prepared you'll be, which will let you be in control of your fear, as you'll know what to do and thus won't panic like you otherwise would when thrust into a survival situation. The old saying, practice makes perfect, is absolutely suited to this situation. The more you practice, the more confident you'll be. The more confident you are, the more relaxed you'll be. You'll be able to utilize your fear as a tool to help you judge whether or not you need to be extra cautious or not, but you will not let it control you. So remember, be prepared to face these hostile factors. These are the enemies of survival: boredom and loneliness, pain, thirst, fatigue, temperature, hunger, and fear. And as always, stay safe in the bush.